It's interesting to me how sometimes as scholars we fall into research areas without really noticing. Although I'm deeply interested in the ways that people produce online personas and my focus on banalities and everydayness of the work that goes into producing them, I'd not realised until recently that I'm actually deeply invested in understanding persona production in domestic contexts. Revisiting the #WatchingTV Instagram case study that formed the basis of the introductory essay to Volume 3, Issue 2 of Persona Studies, I was struck by how this research, conducted by me and written up with my wonderful colleagues Dr. Kachali and Dr. Chris Moore, was really focused on the ways that people visualised their domestic lives. In the piece we state, this previously private undertaking, the activity of watching television in domestic spaces, is being surfaced by the prevalence of the public sharing of personal photography and thus now contributes to the persona of the individual who produces and shares the images, or at least the persona presented through that account. This idea of the private undertaking being visualised in public is just so interesting to me, and it's an area that I've continued to look at in my research, most recently to date on the autoethnographic work I completed with my colleague Dr. Saira Ali for the 2021 Online Persona Studies Conference. Online visual ethnographies and other visual methods, notably methods stemming from Tim Highfield and Tama Lever's Instagrammatics, allows us to engage with the visual and their textual accompaniment simultaneously, collectively. As visual communication methods through photographs, illustrations, emoji, and GIFs become ever more embedded in our online selves, we need to continue to develop research strategies to interpret the ways that these visuals perform elements of our personas. As I argue in the article, to play with one's phone, to capture images, to frame them with hashtags that give meaningful context, and to post them on Instagrams are activities that are labour, but are also iterative practices of persona production and performance in themselves. And when such content is banal, amateur, and/or ambivalent about cultivating, admiring, or engaged publics, then the persona work of these practices warrants particular attention. It continues to warrant my attention, at least, and given the breakdown of the already tenuous barriers between domestic and public thanks to the pandemic, the ways that we perform versions of ourselves through online media, negotiating the visibilization of our domestic spaces as the context for non-domestic persona performances, make this a necessary focus for persona studies.